We've all done it, right? You click that buy button online and get that little rush knowing a package is going to show up on your doorstep in like 2 days. It feels like magic, but how does that magic actually work? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible, super complex, and mostly invisible system that makes our world of instant gratification possible. Seriously, think about it. It's a process we almost never consider. You want something, you click, and then poof, it's there. But that whole in-between part, that's a massive story of logistics, of economics, and a whole lot of human effort, all running 24/7. And you know what? The real story kicks off when most of us are sound asleep. So I want you to picture a warehouse, a logistics hub that's the size of a few football fields. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. The whole place is just humming with the sound of conveyor belts and the constant beep of scanners. And your package? It's just one of literally millions being sorted and routed on its way to you. This right here is the physical reality behind that digital promise you made with a single click. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the promise, that clean, simple, easy experience on your phone or computer. But on the other hand, you have the reality, this non-stop, grinding, industrial machine. So how do you connect those two worlds? Well, the secret lies in a very specific business strategy. It's called the asset-light model. And honestly, this is the engine that makes so much of modern e-commerce work. It's an idea that has totally flipped the entire trucking and delivery industry on its head. So what in the world does asset-light actually mean?
Okay, so here's the big idea. Instead of a logistics company owning its own giant, expensive fleet of trucks, which costs a fortune, it relies on contractors to bring their own. That means the drivers, the contractors, are the ones responsible for their trucks, the gas, the insurance, you name it. For the company, this is great. It slashes their direct costs. But here's the thing. Those costs don't just disappear into thin air.
And this leads us to the million-dollar question. If the big company isn't paying for all this stuff, who is? Well, the whole model is designed to shift that financial weight, and this next part shows you exactly where it lands. Just look at this breakdown. It's pretty stark. You see on the right all the big, unpredictable, and really expensive parts of the job. We're talking fuel, maintenance on the truck, insurance, even tires. All of that is absorbed by the individual driver. The corporation basically minimizes its own financial risk by pushing it directly onto its workforce.
So how is this even possible legally? Well, it all hinges on that classification. Independent contractors. By not classifying drivers as actual employees, companies aren't on the hook for those operating costs or things like health benefits. It is the absolute linchpin of the asset-light system. But as you can imagine, this kind of financial pressure has a very, very real human cost.
And this is where the rubber really meets the road, so to speak. When you shift that much risk and that much cost onto individuals, the consequences are huge. We're moving away from just the numbers on a balance sheet and into the real human side of this whole equation.
This quote from our source material just says it all, doesn't it? While the system is amazingly efficient at getting a box from point A to point B, it creates an unbelievably tough environment for the people who are actually doing the moving. And look, this isn't just an opinion. It's backed up by a statistic that is, well, it's just jaw-dropping.
90%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's the annual turnover rate in the long-haul trucking industry. What that means is, for every 10 drivers on the road at the beginning of the year, 9 of them will be gone by the end of it. 9. That isn't a turnover rate. That's a system screaming that it's under an immense amount of strain.
So all of this brings us to what you could call the delivery paradox. On one side, there's the incredible convenience and benefit for us, the customers. And on the other side, there are the very real consequences for the people working inside that system.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. For the consumer, it's all green check marks, right? It's fast, it's convenient, shipping is cheap, it feels like magic. But then you look at the driver's reality. They're the ones absorbing the costs, they have almost no job security, and they're in an industry where 9 out of 10 of their colleagues quit every single year. It's a system that, as the source material puts it, is both good for consumers and terrible for drivers. And that leaves us with something to think about. The next time a package lands on your doorstep with what feels like impossible speed, it's worth just taking a second to remember the incredibly complex and costly journey it took to get there. The system absolutely works, but it forces us to ask a really important question. Is our convenience worth the hidden cost?